Caitlin Clark was supposed to be coached by Minnesota Lynx head coach Cheryl Reeve.
Because Clark traded Cheryl Reeve, who was the coach of her team, or was to be the coach of her team.
Caitlin Clark and Napheesa Collier, they traded their coaches. They didn't trade any players in the draft. They traded their coaches.
But I cannot believe she traded the coach.
Caitlin Clark just pulled off the most jaw-dropping move of the 2025 WNBA All-Star Draft, and the whole league is still trying to wrap their heads around it. Right there on live national TV, she didn't just draft players, she traded her own coach, Cheryl Reeve. A total power play, and let's be real, Reeve did not see that coming.
The WNBA All-Star Draft was fun between Caitlin Clark and Napheesa Collier, the team captains, picking the players, picking the roster.
Caitlin Clark and Napheesa Collier kicked off the WNBA All-Star Draft as team captains, and things escalated fast. What started as a fun, made-for-TV moment quickly turned into one of the boldest power plays the league has ever seen. Caitlin Clark didn't just play the game, she rewrote it. And Cheryl Reeve? She had no idea what was coming. What looked like a lighthearted, friendly draft suddenly became a masterclass in silent revenge. In a moment that stunned everyone watching, Caitlin made the boldest move of the night. She didn't trade a player. She traded her coach.
Caitlin Clark was supposed to be coached by Minnesota Lynx head coach Cheryl Reeve.
Clark was originally paired with Cheryl Reeve, the legendary Minnesota Lynx coach, and yep, the same coach who led Team USA, the very team that publicly left Clark off the Olympic roster. So what did Caitlin do? Live on national TV, she looked at the camera and said, "I don't know if this is in the rules, I don't care. We're trading the coach." That wasn't just a move, that was a message.
Of course, Reeve is Collier's head coach for the Minnesota Lynx, so that makes sense.
Sandy Brondello, head coach of the New York Liberty, was brought in to take over Team Clark. And just like that, the swap was approved, no hesitation from Napheesa Collier, who, by the way, plays for Cheryl Reeve in Minnesota. Clearly, she had no problem coaching under her usual boss. But let's be clear, this move wasn't about comfort or game day strategy. This was about history.
But the drama is going to come from Reeve having previously been critical on social media about the amount of attention Clark received relative to the rest of the league.
Reeve and Clark have a bit of a past, and it's not exactly friendly. Reeve's been accused of downplaying Clark's impact on the league, brushing off her popularity as nothing more than media hype. There were tweets, then deleted tweets, and then came Christine Brennan's book, which hinted that Reeve played a not-so-small role in the Olympic snub that left Clark watching the games from home. Reeves denied having anything to do with it, but let's be honest, most fans aren't buying it.
Because Clark traded Cheryl Reeve, who was the coach of her team, or was to be the coach of her team, to Collier for Sandy Brondello, the coach of the New York Liberty.
So right there, in front of the cameras, in front of the entire league, Caitlin Clark took the power back. She wasn't there to play nice. She wasn't about to sit on the bench for someone who never had her back. She said no without raising her voice, without making a scene, and with the calmest smile on her face. This wasn't petty. It was precise. And in that moment, she became a voice for every player who's ever been told to stay quiet, take the high road, or wait their turn. Clark didn't wait. She moved.
Here, I don't know that I've heard of a coach being traded in the All-Star game. This is something that you're agreeing to, Fee. There's no terms to this deal.
It wasn't just that Clark traded Reeve, it's who she brought in to replace her. Sandy Brondello isn't just any coach. She's someone who genuinely embraces Clark's style of play and maybe, just maybe, has her eyes on the bigger picture. Could this be the beginning of a quiet recruitment to New York? A lot of fans think so. The Liberty are building something serious, and pairing Clark with Sabrina Ionescu in the backcourt? That's a dream combo. And now, Brondello gets to coach both of them during the All-Star game. Coincidence? Maybe, but it's starting to feel like the chess pieces are moving fast. Cheryl Reeve may still hold weight in the league, but on this night, she was the one left scrambling. And Caitlin? She just smiled, like she had the whole thing planned from the very beginning.
Caitlin Clark taking her teammates we knew, Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell. She's also taken Sabrina Ionescu and the pink-haired player known as Asia Wilson. That's right.
Let's just call it what it is. Caitlin Clark didn't just draft a team, she crafted a statement. And that statement? Loud, clear, and just a little savage. When the WNBA All-Star rosters dropped, it wasn't only about who made the cut, it was also about who didn't. Because Clark didn't just build a roster, she built a circle of trust. And if you've had something slick to say about her over the past 18 months, congrats. You're watching from the other bench.
She made sure she picked no ops, as people like to call them. She made sure there were no ops on her team.
And Caitlin Clark also wound up with all of the Fever members on her squad as well, meaning Aaliyah Boston, Clark, and Kelsey Mitchell will be a trio in Indianapolis.
Clark's draft strategy? It could be summed up by one now iconic meme, Team Caitlin, no ops allowed. And within minutes, it went viral, because honestly, it was spot on. She stacked her roster with friends, trusted teammates, and players she's shared the court with before. Sonia Citron, her old Team USA buddy. Gabby Williams, always respectful, never caught in drama. Kiki Iriafin, young, lightning quick, and totally drama-free. And of course, she scooped up every Fever teammate she could. Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell were no-brainers. Even her wildcard picks still made perfect sense.
She picked none of her rivals, other than Asia Wilson, because, as Ken Swift's graphic says, Team Caitlin, no ops allowed, except Asia.
Sata Sabali was an easy pick. She's been one of Clark's loudest supporters in the league, always standing up for Fever fans and hyping the next generation. And then, there was Aya Wilson. Now, let's be real, everyone knew this was coming. Aya is a generational talent, a two-time MVP, and arguably the best player in the world right now. Caitlin might be selective, but she's not delusional. She knows a super team when she sees one, and Aya wasn't getting passed over just because of a few awkward media moments. So yes, Aya made the no ops allowed squad, but let's be clear, she's the exception, not the rule.
Here she picks her teammate Courtney Williams. She picks her UConn alum Brianna Stewart, Paige Becker.
Sata Sabali was a no-brainer, one of Clark's most vocal supporters in the league, always backing Fever fans and championing the new wave of talent. And then there was Aya Wilson. Let's be honest, this pick wasn't a surprise. Aya's a generational player, a two-time MVP, and arguably the best in the world right now. Clark may be picky about who's in her circle, but she's not blind to greatness. She knows a super team when she sees one, and there was no way Aya was getting left out over a few awkward press moments. So yes, Aya made the no ops allowed squad, but let's be real, she's the exception, not the rule.
Angel Reese has filed a trademark for the rebound term me-bound.
While Clark was quietly assembling her Avengers-level squad, Nafisa Collier was out here serving TV gold. During the live draft right there on national television, Collier casually dropped the line of the night. When Angel Reese's name came up, she leaned into the mic and said, "Me-bound." Yep, that word. The one that once sent WNBA Twitter into absolute chaos and had Angel Reese trending for days. And guess who is sitting just 2 seats away? Caitlin Clark. Her reaction? Ice cold. No smirk, no chuckle, not even a blink. Just a frozen stare straight ahead.
Clark should have a very fast team there. When you look at it, I mean, Williams is really fast for a forward. Obviously, Kelsey's very fast. Citron's very fast. Jackie Young's one of my favorite players. Iriafin, a rookie, can get up and down the floor. UNESCO can help spread the floor along with Kelsey and Clark so they can really shoot.
But let's give credit where it's due, because Angel Reese has seriously flipped the script. She took that me-bound nickname, once used to mock her, and turned it into a full-on glow-up. Lately, she's been on a tear, monster stat lines, double-doubles night after night, and walking into every arena with straight-up, you can't break me energy. She didn't just reclaim the insult, she turned it into a brand. And honestly, even Caitlin Clark would probably respect it if she ever broke that stone-cold poker face.
Caitlin made sure to get some size. She actually passed up on Paige Beckers to take Sabali, and she took Asia Wilson with her third pick. If Asia had fallen any further down the board, that would have been a wee bit of a controversy, if we're being real about it. but Clark picked her, I think, just in time.
Let's circle back to the draft, because once you really take a look at the team Caitlin Clark put together, you start to realize she might have just built herself a low-key super team. Let's break it down. Starting 5, Clark running point. Sabrina Ionescu at the 2. Sata Sabali holding down the wing. Aaliyah Boston in the paint. And Aya Wilson anchoring the front court. That lineup? That's speed. That's spacing. That's power. And yeah, that's zero chill. Honestly, it's looking like Clark built the better squad. Then you check the bench, and it somehow gets even scarier. Kelsey Mitchell, a straight flamethrower. Gabby Williams, defensive menace. Sonia Citron, smooth shooter and slasher. Kiki Ariafin, young, explosive, and fearless. Jackie Young, a future All-Star MVP in the making. And Kayla Thornton, the kind of underrated glue player every great team needs. It's not just a group of talented names, it's balanced. This team can play fast, stretch the floor, go big if they want to. You've got shooters like Clark, Sabrina, and Mitchell. You've got rebounders and post power in Boston and Aya. And athletes like Gabby and Kiki who can run the court like it's a track meet. This isn't chaos, it's calculated, well-structured, and dangerous. Caitlin didn't just draft players. She drafted a system.
But there's got to be something in the back of Caitlin's mind that still feels a little miffed, even if Reeve wasn't directly responsible for her not making the Olympic squad.
And let's not overlook the petty little detail that sent fans into a frenzy. Clark completely passed on Paige Buchers. Just left her sitting there. Everyone expected Paige to go early, the former UConn star, media favorite, and someone constantly linked to Clark in headlines. But nope. Caitlin swerved and went with Sata Sabali instead. It wasn't just a draft pick. It was a statement. Was it strategic? Absolutely. Was it a little personal? Maybe. Because when you really look at it, Clark wasn't just building a team, she was curating a vibe. She wasn't about to deal with any weird energy off the bench. She picked her shooters, her rebounders, her defenders. But most importantly, she picked peace of mind. At the end of the day, Clark's draft wasn't just smart, it was surgical.
She has surpassed everybody in the amount of time that she has played in the WNBA. She fills up every arena in every town that she goes to. Teams have to go to bigger arenas.
Here's where things start heating up, not just on the court, but behind the clipboard. Because while most people were locked in on who Caitlin Clark was drafting, a few sharp eyes were focused on something way more subtle. Who was coaching? Enter Sandy Brondello, quietly stepping in as Clark's new head coach after that now iconic coach swap that sent Cheryl Reeve packing. But let's be real, this wasn't just a mid-draft plot twist. This could be the soft launch of the 2028 free agency sweepstakes. Yep, we're going there. Sandy Brondello, head coach of the New York Liberty, is now coaching both Caitlin Clark and Sabrina Ionescu on the same team. Coincidence? Maybe. Strategic foreshadowing from the Liberty front office? Absolutely.
Truth is truth. Slightly exaggerated truth is still not a lie.
Look, Caitlin Clark isn't hitting free agency anytime soon, but this is exactly how it starts. You get her in the room. You build some chemistry. You let her experience what it's like to be in a system where the coach actually believes in everything she brings to the table. A system that doesn't park her in the corner like Indiana's Steph White has been trying to do. Let's be real, Clark's not just a catch-and-shoot player. She's a playmaker, a floor general, a walking triple-double when she's unleashed. And Brondello? She gets that.
Who do you think, A, picked the best team, and B, who do you think's going to win?
Honestly, fans were already cracking jokes, saying if Clark were in New York, that shoe deal would have dropped months ago, with a matching tracksuit. And honestly, they're not wrong. The Liberty are built for the spotlight, built for movement, built for stars. That's why players like Breanna Stewart, Jonquil Jones, and Sabrina Ionescu all call it home. The Liberty don't just play basketball, they build brands. Clark in New York? That's not a move, that's a marketing tsunami. So don't be shocked if this little all-star coaching cameo is actually the opening pitch of a 4-year recruitment plan. Sandy Brondello's playing chess, and she might have just made her first move. Meanwhile, while Clark was out here building a dream team and maybe planting seeds in Brooklyn, Nafisa Collier was busy assembling what looked like a WNBA power forward convention. Her frontcourt? Stacked. Breanna Stewart, Nneka Agwamike, Angel Reese, Alyssa Thomas, and Paige Buchers, who might be listed as a guard, but let's be real, she plays like a forward every time she hits the floor. There's size, there's strength, there's grit, but spacing, shooting, not exactly overflowing.
Drama storylines can be spun for fun.